Salut et bienvenue, or better yet, hello and welcome to African Entertainment Reviews for yet another African tier list. As always, I am your host, the local African man who simply loves art, and your soon-to-be favorite uncle, Uncle Omari, and today we will be curating the art that is African flags. This isn't going to get me into trouble with any potential viewers, right? But no, seriously, we are doing this for fun, and just so we're on the same page, we are basing this ranking of my subjective tastes, which are very questionable on their own. However, I will be adding a few did you know facts about these very flags. So real quick, we'll start by renaming these tiers, starting with the S class, which will be now known as Sovereign, the A class known as Art, B tier known as Basic, C tier known as Copycats, and the F tier now changed to Flag Might Need Some Work. We will also be working through this alphabetically, so let's get right into it with Drapeau de l'Algérie, Année Azaïri, or better yet known as the Algerian flag, which for all of its simplicity is one of the more unique flags we have in the continent. According to my research, the symbolism of this flag is still up for debate. However, some of the more common understandings for these combinations are the color green representing Islam or representing the earth and agriculture, whilst the white color representing purity or representing peace. Whereas the crescent moon and star can be seen as symbols of light or can be representative of the Islamic religion. Now, I already mentioned that this is one of the more unique flags we have in the continent, so that definitely gives it a boost within the rankings. And I really do appreciate that little touch where they tilted the star so that they have 2 points of that star touching the border between the green and the white, giving it this kind of artistic balance. So with that, I don't see how I give this artistic piece anything less than the A tier. Next up, we have the Angolan flag, which in terms of design, I personally believe to be one of the most badass. The flag has 2 bands of red on top and black below it, each representing the bloodshed during the colonial period and the African continent respectively. And the cool factor for me actually comes in the form of these very detailed symbols in the middle, where we have a golden half gear crossed with a golden machete and a golden 5-point star centralized within it, with the gear representing the industrial workers and production, the machete representing agricultural production and the armed struggle, and the 5-point star representing international solidarity and progress. The golden color is also very intentional as it represents the country's wealth. This is yet another artistic piece. However, I do think that this is one of the most badass flags, so it will edge out the art tier and move into the sovereign tier. Next up, Drapeau du Benin, or the Benin flag. Now, what we have here is a very basic flag design with a green vertical band at the hoist and 2 horizontal yellow and red bands on the fly side. So, historically, these colors of yellow, green and red have been associated with the Pan-Africanist movement, which many West African countries adopted into their own flag designs following the decolonization of Africa. Hence the reason why most West African countries' flags actually look kinda samey. We'll get to the origin of the Pan-Africanist movement's colors soon enough. For Benin though, these colors had the representation of green for the hope of a new democracy, red for the courage of the ancestors, and yellow for the treasures of their nation. When it comes to rankings though, whilst I did call it a very basic design of a flag, which is not a bad thing for flags by the way, I really can't help but put it in a different tier, and this is because alongside other West African flags, they really do look kinda samey. Therefore, the Benin flag will be our first entry into the Copycats tier. Next up, we have the Folagaya Botswana, aka the flag of Botswana. And again, we have yet another very basic flag design, which I must insist is not a bad thing for flags. However, this one I was kinda disappointed with initially, which to be honest is based off an ignorance of what this flag actually represents. This flag is quite literally a sky blue field cut horizontally by a black stripe that has thin white frames on either side. And just from first impressions, you would be forgiven to think that this is a very plain flag. However, symbolically it carries its weight. The blue color is representative of the very precious resource of rain, which is relied upon by the Botswana people for agricultural purposes, as their country is frequented by droughts due to the dry and arid climates of the Kalahari Desert. And the black band with the white frames is is twofold. Firstly, working as a representation of the racial diversity within the country, thus representing the harmony amongst the racially different Motswana people. And second, it works as a representation of the national animal for the Motswana people, the zebra. And to be completely honest, it is very impressive that something can tell so much by using so little, which essentially makes this flag a minimalist piece of art. And for that reason, a flag that I initially had at the flag might need some work tier actually moves all the way up to the art tier. Next up, we have the flag of Burkina Faso. Now, with Drapeau du Burkina Faso, we encounter similar characteristics to the previously discussed flag of Benin, in that both flags incorporate the Pan-Africanist movement colors of yellow, green, and red, only that in this flag, the yellow color is modified into a 5-point star. In Burkina Faso's case, the red is used to represent the revolution against the colonialists, while the green is used to symbolize the abundance of agricultural and natural resources, whereas the yellow star takes the place of representing the guiding light for the revolution against colonialists. And with the use of Pan-Africanist colors being representative of unity amongst African ex-colonies, then such will be the case as we unite Burkina Faso with Benin into the copycats tier. Please don't hate me. Next up, we have Ibendera Rio Burundi, aka the flag of Burundi. This flag is characterized by a white saltire that merges into a white disc at the center, with green and red areas parallel to each other on either side, as well as 3 red solid 6-pointed stars centralized into the white disc. So with these colors, the white of the saltire is representative of peace, whilst the green represents the nation's hopes for future development, and the red is symbolic of the country's struggle for independence. Meanwhile, the 3 stars at the center of this flag are representative of the ethnic groups of Burundi, the Hutu, the Tutsi, and the Twa, whilst simultaneously being representative of the national motto, Unité, Travail, Progrès. Unity, work, and progress. And these can also have a thirdfold meaning, which is representative of the loyalty the citizens have pledged to their god, the king, and their country. All in all, I do quite like this flag, and my sensibilities are telling me to rank this within the B tier. Prochain dans la ligne est Drapeau du Cameroun. Rather, next in line is the flag of Cameroon. This is yet another flag that high-key incorporates the Pan-Africanist movement colors using a vertical tricolor of green, red, and yellow with a yellow 5-pointed star in its center, known as the Star of Unity. Cameroon was in fact the second state to adopt the Pan-African colors, which essentially makes them the second ones to copy somebody else's homework, thus slotting themselves into the copycat tier. Next up, Bandeira de Cabo Verde, or the flag of Cabo Verde, or Cape Verde, or however you choose to pronounce this country's name. This is another of the more unique African flags, characterized by 5 unequal horizontal bands of blue, white, and red, and a circle of 10 yellow 5-pointed stars. The blue of the flag represents the ocean and the sky, whilst the red represents effort and the white is for peace. The 10 yellow stars of this flag, on the other hand, represent the 10 main islands of this nation. And hey, I gotta say, I really like this flag. It really stands out against other African flags, and for that reason, I am plopping it right into the sovereign tier. Next up, Banderati de Africa, aka the flag of the Central African Republic. Drapeau de la République Centrafricaine is characterized by 4 horizontal stripes of blue, white, green, and yellow, with a single vertical band of red running down the middle and a yellow 5-pointed star in the upper left corner. Now, this is one of the flags that doesn't shy away from its own history. Whilst most flags, especially those that adopt the Pan-African colors, are changed to heavily distance oneself from their previous colonial masters, the Central African Republic flag actually takes the blue and white of France and the green and yellow of Africa and merges them together with a red vertical band of unity, as that color is present in both the French and the Pan-African colors. And the yellow star is indicative of independence as well as African unity, progress, and tolerance, of which it's kinda hard to have so much going on and make it work out, but I think that this flag does, so I will be plopping it into the art tier. Next up, we have the flag of Chad. God, what a name. I mean, flags aside, this country actually got one of the coolest names out there. Anyway, this flag consists of a vertical tricolor of blue, gold and red, which was actually intended to be a mixture of the French flag colors as well as the Pan-African colors. Funnily enough, it ended up looking exactly like the Romanian flag. These colors are understood to be blue, a representation of the sky and hope, gold, a representation of the sun and the desert, and the red signifies the bloodshed over independence. Now, I should be putting Chad's flag into the copycat tier. However, as I do find it funny that an accidental mixture led it to looking exactly like the Romanian flag, I feel like based off humor alone, I should bump it up to at least the basic tier. And next up, we have the flag of the Union of the Comoros. And this flag has quite a bit going on. We have a green triangle on the hoist side with a white crescent moon and 4 white 5-point stars. And on the fly side, we have 4 horizontal bands of yellow, white, red and blue. The 4 stars as well as the 4 stripes represent the 4 main islands of the nation, with yellow for Moheli, white for Mayotte, red for Anjouan and blue for the Grand Comore. As for the crescent moon, much like the one in the Algerian flag, this one also represents the Islamic religion of this nation. And then again, much like the Central African Republic flag, this one also has a lot going on but still kinda makes it work, so I feel fair to just put it right beside it in the art tier. Moving on to Drapeau de la Côte d'Ivoire, aka the flag of the Ivory Coast, which is the tricolor flag that consists of equal bands of orange, white and green in that order, which is very important to note because the exact inverse of these colors actually gives you the flag of Ireland. The colors of the flag of Côte d'Ivoire are understood to represent orange, symbolizing the savannas in the north and the fertility of the land, white for the peace, and green for a certainty of a better future. Now, this flag is way too similar to the Irish flag for me to overlook. I mean, for an Ivorian athlete to be able to borrow one from an Irish fan, invert it and celebrate with it as if it was the Ivory Coast flag, that's just too similar. And for that reason, Drapeau de la Côte d'Ivoire goes straight into the copycat tier. Next up, we have the flag of Djibouti, which is just another awesome name for a country. If you know, you know. Now, here we have a flag that combines the basic layout and colors from the flag of the Front de Libération de la Côte des Somalis, with a white triangle on the hoist side that has a red 5-point star, and 2 equal horizontal bands of light blue and light green on the fly side. The light blue representing the sky and the sea as well as the Somali people, with the green representing the everlasting green of the earth as well as the Afars group. The white, as has been commonly discussed, represents peace, and the 5-point red star represents unity, the bloodshed of the martyrs during the struggle for independence, as well as Djibouti being one of the 5 regions inhabited by the Somali people. Now, whilst I do absolutely love the name of this country, the flag doesn't speak too much to me, so I will be plopping it right into the basic tier. Next up, we are looking at Drapeau de la République démocratique du Congo, better known as the flag of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Now here we have ourselves a sky blue flag that is cut across diagonally by a red stripe with yellow frames, and finished off with a 5-point yellow star in the upper left canton. In the DRC, the blue represents peace, whilst the red, as is characteristic for most of these flags, represents the blood of the country's martyrs during the struggle for independence, and the yellow is a symbol of the country's wealth, with the star being a symbol of the future of the country. Now, the most outstanding feature of this flag is actually its diagonal stripe, which in the international scale is not a feature that is incorporated into most flags. However, within the continent, there is 2 other countries that have this feature. So all in all, there really isn't much to write home about this flag, so it will be staying in the basic tier. Next up, Aïlam Musre, or the flag of Egypt. Now here we have yet another tricolor flag consisting of 3 equal horizontal bands of red, white and black, with its national emblem, the Egyptian eagle of Saladin, centered into the white band. Now this is a flag of rich history and even stronger influence, seeing that it has been adopted by several Arab states being Iraq, Syria and even Yemen. The red band is understood to be a representative of the Egyptians' blood in the war against colonization, whilst the white band symbolizes the purity of the Egyptians' hearts, with its placement over the black band being symbolic of overcoming the dark times. Now, I could get into the history of it all, but we are closing into the 15-minute mark and we are only at letter E, so I will be skipping it. However, due to this rich history that we are skipping, as well as its influence towards other Arab states, I will be according this flag none other than the sovereign tier. Next up, Bandera de Guinea Equatorial, better known as the flag of Equatorial Guinea. This flag has a blue triangle on the hoist side, coupled with the tricolor horizontal bands of green, white and red on the fly side, and the national emblem centered into the white band, much like the Egyptian flag. This emblem has 6 stars on it, which are representative of Equatorial Guinea's mainland and its 5 islands, with the symbolism of the colors of this flag being common understandings that we have already gone through: blue for the sea, green for the natural resources, white for peace, and red for the bloodshed of the fighters for independence. As for the national emblem, we have a shield that has a silk cotton tree within it. Beneath the shield lies a silver scroll that reads with the national motto, Unidad, Paz, Justicia, which for people who know habla español translates to unity, peace, and justice. As far as flag designs go, I quite like this one. I feel like the addition of a national emblem into a flag gives it some sort of character, saving it from a basic design and, like in this case, moving it to the art tier. Next up, Alamu Eritrea, which I hope I am saying right to mean the national flag of Eritrea. This flag has a red isosceles triangle on the hoist side, which divides the rest of the flag into 2 right-angle triangles on the fly side, the upper being green and the lower being blue, all being colors of the Eritrean People's Liberation Front. The flag also sports the emblem of a golden olive branch encircled by a golden olive wreath. The color symbolism being that of green for the agriculture and livestock of the country, whilst the blue represents the bounty of the sea and the red representing the bloodshed during the struggle for Eritrean independence. The olive wreath also has 30 leaves, each representative of a year spent in the struggle for independence. And all this just comes together, imploring me to rank it into none other than the art tier. Next up, we have the Eswatini flag, and I could just let you marvel at this beauty for a while. This flag is a field of blue cut across by a red stripe with yellow frames. But its most unique characteristic, which you absolutely cannot miss, is its African black and white oxhide combat shield from the traditional Swazi regiment, known as Anguni shield, complete with its reinforcing staff that has the Injibu tassels, and 2 asagai, which are local spears indigenous to the Swazi people. Now, on top of being absolutely badass, this is a very drippy flag, so I have no other option but to put it into the highest of tiers, that is the sovereign tier. Now what we have next up is what I consider to be the father of many modern African flags, and that is in none other than the national flag of Ethiopia. This flag has the tricolor horizontal bands of green, yellow and red, with a golden pentagram on a blue disc superimposed at the center of it. Here we have a flag with such a rich history that I wish I could get into, however I will save on time by just touching on the major points. Those being that first, Ethiopia is one of only 2 countries in the entire continent that were never colonized, which was after beating the Kingdom of Italy in the Battle of Adwa to avoid occupation. And secondly, due to this incredible Ethiopian feat, these colors of green, yellow and red that had a long standing in Ethiopian history were adopted by Pan-Africanist movements, meaning that many countries upon gaining their own independence adopted these colors into their own flag, as well as any organizations that have a Pan-Africanist ideology have also adopted these colors. I mean, this flag is one of the major reasons that this tier list even has a copycat tier in existence, simply based off its influence and how many other countries after independence kinda decided to copy their homework. And we all know where we are placing this flag. It is going straight into the sovereign tier. Next up, we have Drapeau du Gabon, better known as the flag of Gabon, which has a very basic design of the tricolor horizontal bands of green, gold and blue, with the green representing the natural resources of Gabon, the yellow being representative of the equator and the sun, and the blue being representative of the sea. And with its lack of any distinctive character, I will be leaving it into the basic tier. Next up, the flag of Gambia, which is yet another flag with the horizontal tricolor design, this time of red, blue and green, but with white frames separating these colors. Ever wonder which came first, the chicken or the egg? Well, in Gambia's case, and I stand to be corrected, the Gambia River was actually named first and the country derived its name from the river. Ergo, the blue of the flag actually represents the Gambia River, which is the nation's key geographical feature. The red evokes the sun, the equator and the savanna. The green is evocative of the forest and the agricultural goods that the Gambian people produce. And the thin white stripes represent unity and peace. And this flag does well enough to mix these colors without necessarily clashing them, whilst remaining distinctive enough. However, I cannot put it any higher than the basic tier. Next up, we have the flag of the Black Stars, the Ghana flag, being the first African country to adopt the Ethiopian Pan-African colors of green, yellow and red, this time inverting them in their own tricolor formation and adding to it a centralized 5-point black star. The red color is indicative of the bloodshed during the struggle for independence, whilst the yellow or golden hue is indicative of the nation's natural resources, which initially gave it the name the Gold Coast. And the green symbolizes Ghana's forests and natural wealth. Finally, the black star is a symbol of the emancipation of Africa and the unity against colonialism, which is a symbol that was in fact adopted from a Marcus Garvey shipping line. Now, being the first to adopt the Ethiopian Pan-Africanist colors just makes you the first to copy somebody else's homework. So, for that reason, I will be putting Ghana's flag into the copycats tier. Next up, Drapeau de la Guinée, or the Flag of Guinea. And right real quick, this is yet another flag that adopts the Ethiopian Pan-African colors. However, funny enough, they actually adopted theirs straight from the Ghana flag because of the close relationship between the Ghana president and the Guinea president. But with a twist this time, as they made their tricolor formation vertical. But at the end of the day, you just copied your assignment from somebody who had copied their assignment, and thus you end up in the copycat tier. Next up, the flag of Guinea-Bissau, which is yet another flag design that looked at their fellow neighbors and went, let's do what they're doing. With a red band on the hoist side that hosts a 5-point black star and 2 horizontal bands of yellow and green on the fly side, the Guinea-Bissau flag took Ghana's draft design and changed it up a bit just so the teacher wouldn't notice. Thus, this local man on YouTube is forced to put it alongside its contemporaries in the copycat tier. And finally, we are home as we look into Bendera ya Kenya, the flag of my people, the flag of Kenya. A tricolor flag of black, red and green that are separated by white stripes, superimposed by a Maasai shield of the same colors and 2 spears across. Woo! Somebody was cooking with this design. As for the symbolic value of this flag, the black is representative of the people of the Republic of Kenya, the red is for the blood spilled during the fight for independence, and the green is for the country's landscape and natural wealth, whilst the symbol of the Maasai shield and the 2 spears symbolize the defense of all the things mentioned above and defense from the tax collector. Now then, to be completely honest, I did not want to be biased with this ranking and actually wanted to plant my flag into the art tier. However, looking into more of the other flags in this continent, I actually realized that the Kenyan flag had more influence than I had initially anticipated. And on top of that, I believe that our flag is just as badass as the Eswatini flag. Oh, okay, theirs is more badass, but still, we are up there. So with all of these factors into consideration and without even the need of any bias, this beautiful flag flies its way into the sovereign tier. Next up, we have the flag of Lesotho, which has the tricolor horizontal bands of blue, white and green, with a black mokorotlo, a type of Basotho hat, in the center of it all. The blue represents the sky and rain, whilst the white represents the peace and the green represents prosperity, and the crown of this piece, the mokorotlo, being a design intended to reflect a state that is both peaceful internally and with its only neighbor, the South African nation. And hey, I don't know, this is just one of those designs that absolutely lands for me. It's simple, yet it does and says a lot. And I am inclined to put it at a very high sovereign tier. Next up, we have the flag of Liberia, sometimes called the Lone Star. And yes, just looking at it, you can already see the similarities to a very popular flag. The flag has 11 stripes of alternating red and white, with a blue square on the canton that hosts a 5-point white star. These 11 stripes symbolize the signatories of the Liberian Declaration of Independence, with the red and white colors themselves symbolizing courage and moral excellence. The white star on the canton is understood to represent the first independent republic in Africa, because technically Liberia was not colonized, and the white square that this star rests on is representative of the African continent. Now, to be completely honest, I personally like this flag. It is very unique amongst most of the African flags, as you can see. However, I mean, just look at it. You can all see it, so I have no other option but to put it into the copycat tier. Next up, Ailamu Libya, or the flag of Libya. A flag that also has the horizontal tri-band formation, this time of red, black and green, with the black being twice the size of the outer colors. A white crescent moon and a 5-point white star are also centralized within this black band. The The colors have common symbolic understandings that we have already discussed, such as red for the bloodshed during the struggle for independence, black as a representation of the darker days during this occupation, and green representing primary wealth, agriculture, and the future prosperity of the country. However, another understanding of these colors might be a representation of the three major regions of Libya: red for the Fezzan area, black for the Cyrenaica region, and green for the Tripolitania region. These star and crescent were placed within the black central strip of the flag as a reference to the Senussi flag and an homage to King Idris, who led the country to its independence. As far as flag designs go, I actually like the balance of colors in this, and the fact that the black stripe is made twice as big, giving it ample space to hold the white crescent moon and star, is a nice artistic touch. All in all, this is a very good looking flag, and I'm going to place it right into the art tier. Next up, Sainani Madagascar, or the flag of Madagascar. The colors of this flag are meant to be evocative of Madagascar's history and traditional peasant classes. With the red and white, wait, what, red? So yeah, apparently this is actually a shade of red and not orange. I am officially colorblind. Anyway, the red and white were the colors of the Merina kingdom, which were conquered by the French, whilst the green is representative of the Hova, the largest class of peasant commoners who played a significant role in the anti-French agitation and the struggle for independence. So in terms of ranking, I would have actually put this into the copycats class if that shade of red was actually an orange, much like Ivory Coast's colors. However, since it is its own shade of red, I guess our ranking towards the basic class is more than fair enough for that. Next up, we have Mbendera ya Malawi, aka the flag of Malawi. This flag also has a horizontal tricolor formation of black, red, and green, with the insignia of a red rising sun on the black band. The colors, much like those of the Kenyan flag, have the same representation of black for the indigenous people of the continent, red for the spilt blood during the struggle for independence, and green for the nature. The rising sun was a representation of the dawn of hope and freedom for the continent of Africa. And yeah, this is a flag I really like. Art tier all the way. Next up, Drapeau du Mali, or the flag of Mali, where we have another tricolor flag, this time of vertical stripes of green, yellow, and red, the Pan-Africanist movement colors, which is just ordered in reverse of the flag of Guinea. And it really seems like most of West Africa were really united in their tastes. Adding to the symbolic values of these colors being the same, you all knew where this is going. It is going straight into the copycats tier. Next up, Alamu Mauritania, aka the flag of Mauritania. With this one, we have two red stripes flanking a green field from either side of top and bottom, charged with a golden crescent moon and a 5-point golden star. The green in this case is used as a representation of the Islamic religion, and the gold is a representation of the sons of the Sahara Desert, with the red bands being added to the flag as a representation of the efforts and sacrifices of the people of Mauritania. The crescent moon and star are also additional symbols for the Islamic religion. As a flag design, I absolutely love it, especially since they have their crescent moon facing up, so it looks like they have a smiley face on their flag. Definite art tier for me. Proceeding to the national flag of Mauritius, also known as the Four Bands or Le Quatre Band. And just as those names suggest, it is made up of 4 horizontal bands of equal width colored red, blue, yellow, and green. Each understood as red, a representation of the struggle for the freedom of independence, blue for the Indian Ocean in which Mauritius is situated, yellow representing the light of freedom shining over the island, and green representing the agriculture of Mauritius and the fact that it is evergreen throughout the year. Another historical understanding of the representation of these colors is tied to the political parties of the late 1960s in Mauritius, that being red for Parti Travailliste, blue for PMSD, yellow for IFB, and green for CAM. I actually really like this flag. It does more than the conventional tricolor format, even though that's just by adding one more color layer to that, but just that little addition does more for it in terms of making it more diverse and unique. Easy B tier for me, basic tier locked in. Next up, Ailamul Maghreb, better known as the flag of Morocco. Here we have ourselves a fairly simple flag. It is a red field with a green pentagram in the center. The green star represents the 5 pillars of Islam, whilst the red represents the blood of the ancestors and unity. This red also has considerable historic significance in Morocco, as it proclaims a descent from the royal Alawid dynasty. This is a very simple design with straightforward symbolism, so I will put it right into the basic tier. Next up, we have the flag of Mozambique, and arguably this is one of the flags with the most elements. We have a red triangle at the hoist side of the flag, coupled with a horizontal tricolor pattern of teal, black and yellow, which are separated by white stripes in between them. And not only that, within the red triangle we have a 5-point yellow star, which is superimposed by an open book, which is then also superimposed by a Kalashnikov rifle with the bayonet attached, crossed by a hoe, the farm tool, a digging hoe. Now, the meanings of the color schemes are quite standard. Teal is for nature and the riches of the earth. The white signifies peace. The black is a representation of the African continent, and yellow symbolizes the country's mineral wealth. As for the star, that is a symbol of the spirit of international solidarity of the Mozambican people. The open book symbolizes the importance of education. The rifle stands for defense and vigilance, whilst the hoe represents the importance of the country's agriculture. And it's a good looking flag, I'm not gonna lie, but I feel it does a little too much, so that actually puts it down from sovereign and puts it right into the art tier. Next up, we have the flag of Namibia, which is actually a flag that they got after they broke off from South Africa. And it is the second of the 3 African flags that incorporates the diagonal stripe, having a red diagonal band with white edges separating a triangular blue band at the top and a triangular green band at the bottom, and a sun sigil in the upper left canton. The symbolism of the flag's colors are understood to be red representing the most important resource, the people of Namibia, white representing peace, unity, tranquility and harmony, green as per usual symbolizing vegetation and agricultural resources, blue representing the clear Namibian skies and the Atlantic Ocean, the sun itself representing life and energy, whilst its golden yellow color representing the wealth of the country, and the 12 rays of the sun representing the 12 ethnicities of Namibia, which make up most of Namibia's population. And hey, I find it to be a pretty cool flag design, so I am going to put it right into the art tier. Next up, we have Drapeau du Niger, or the flag of Niger. This uses the tricolor horizontal bands of orange, white and green, with an orange disc centralized into the white band. Common interpretations of these colors are understood to be the upper orange band representing the northern regions of the Sahara Desert or the Sahel, the center white band is representative of purity or the Niger River, and the lower green band is representative of both hope and the fertile regions of southern Niger. The orange disc in the center of the flag can be understood to be symbolic of the sun or independence. Now, we are 32 minutes into this video, so if you have been following through, you obviously know where this is going. This flag has such a keen resemblance to that of Côte d'Ivoire, which in turn also had such a keen resemblance to that of Ireland. Therefore, Ireland it into the copycat tier. Ogana, up next we have the flag of Nigeria, which is a flag that has the vertical bicolor of green, white and green, where the green is representative of agriculture as the white represents peace and unity. And it is a very effective flag. However, I would have preferred if they maybe had incorporated their coat of arms as is seen in this one, which would have given it a bit of spice, eh? But for the original, the one that they are currently using, despite knowing that my Niger brothers and sisters are going to be very cross with me, I have no other option but to put it into the basic tier. Next up, Drapeau de la République du Congo, better known as the flag of the Republic of the Congo. Now, this flag is characterized by its use of the Pan-Africanist movement colors green, yellow and red in a diagonal pattern. The green is representative of the agriculture and forests of the Congo, whilst the yellow represents the friendship and nobility of the Congolese people. However, the red is, awkwardly enough, left unexplained. Even with its diagonal pattern, it only seems like the Republic of the Congo flag went ahead to copy someone else's homework, only that their handwriting was in italics. And that doesn't do quite much for its ranking, so it still ends up in the copycats tier. Proceeding to Ibendera Riu Rwanda, aka the flag of Rwanda. Now, this flag also has the horizontal tricolor format, however, the upper band is significantly bigger than the other two, with the flag's 3 colors being blue, yellow and green, and a yellow sun symbol located in the upper right canton of the flag. The color representations are understood to be light blue for happiness and peace, the yellow band symbolizing the economic development of the country, and the green band symbolizing the hope for prosperity, with this sun being a symbol of enlightenment. And this is one very happy flag. I don't know how to explain it further than that. This flag just has a happiness vibe to it. It honestly looks very adorable, like something a kid would draw in an art class. And for that very reason of passing the vibe check, plus its bright and colorful appearance, this flag goes straight into the art tier. Next up, Bandera de la República Árabe Saharaui Democrática, better known as the flag of the Sahrawi Arab Democratic Republic. And you'll have to pardon my ignorance because I had absolutely no idea that this was actually an African country in existence, which is kinda weird for a country that has a flag adopted in 1976. To be fair though to anyone in the same situation as I was, this country is only partially recognized by the UN and its sovereignty is still in dispute with Morocco. But hey, I guess this serves as just an example of why I love making content, because I get to learn and I get to inform you as well. Anywho, let's talk flags. The flag of the Western Sahara has a tricolor horizontal formation of black, white and green, charged with a red crescent moon and a 5-point red star. It also has a red triangle at the hoist. This flag does use many of the pan-Arab colors and does feel a bit derivative, so I will have to plop it into the copycat tier. Very interested to learn more about the state itself though. Next up, Bandeira de São Tomé e Príncipe, aka the flag of São Tomé and Príncipe. Now, this flag design has a red triangle at the hoist with a bicolor horizontal formation of green, yellow, green at the fly side, and is charged with two 5-pointed black stars in the central yellow band. Now, the green alludes to the plentiful vegetation of the country, whilst the yellow stands for the tropical sun and cocoa, with the red triangle being evocative of the struggle for independence. The two stars in the center are meant to represent the two islands that make up this country. Now, this flag not only uses the Pan-Africanist movement colors, but also looks like the Ghana flag with extra steps. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm tempted to put it into the basic tier just based off the work put into it. However, that would be unfair to the other flags that I already placed in the copycat tier. Up next we have Drapeau du Sénégal, or the flag of Senegal. Now here we have yet another West African flag that uses the Pan-Africanist movement colors, green, yellow and red, all arranged in a vertical formation, and this time they have added a 5-pointed green star in the middle. Again, if you've been following this far, you know exactly where this flag is going. However, let's get into the symbolism of these colors. Now, aside from the common understandings of these colors that we have already established from discussing other flags, these colors also had another symbolic understanding that is based in politics, each color representing a different political party which were merged to now form the Socialist Party of Senegal. Green was for Bloc Démocratique Sénégalais, yellow for Mouvement Populaire Sénégalais, and red for Parti Sénégalais d'Action Sociale. And according to Sarah's spirituality, the 5-pointed green star can be interpreted to be a symbol of good fortune and destiny. And with all that said and done, I'm sorry, the Senegal flag still lands into the copycat tier. Up next we have Drapeau de Seychelles, or the flag of Seychelles. And this is one of the most unique flags in the African continent, having 5 oblique color bands of blue, yellow, red, white and green radiating from the bottom of the hoist side. And this oblique formation actually has meaning, as it symbolizes a dynamic new country moving into the future. As for the color coding, the blue is representative of the sky and the sea that surrounds Seychelles. The yellow is for the sun, which gives light and life. Red symbolizing the people and their determination to work for the future in unity and love, whilst the white band represents the social justice and harmony, and green representing the land and natural environment. And just looking at this flag and understanding the ideology behind its formation, I simply cannot rank it anything lower than the sovereign tier. Next up we have the flag of Sierra Leone, or Sierra Leone. I have actually never been sure of how to pronounce this name, so kindly let me know how you say it. This flag has a very basic design of a tricolor formation of 3 horizontal green, white and blue bands. The first 2 colors carry their standard understandings, however the blue color of this flag evokes the natural harbor of Freetown, the capital city of Sierra Leone. And I really don't have anything much to add to it. This flag is as you see it, and I will be placing it into the basic tier. Next up, Aila Musumal, better known as the flag of Somalia. This flag has a very simplistic design with a light blue field charged by a 5-point white star. The blue color is actually in tribute to the United Nations who helped form the country of Somalia during its status as a trust territory, with the 5-point white star originally being the Star of Unity that represented areas where the Somali people lived, that being Djibouti, Somaliland in the former British Protectorate, the Somali region in Ethiopia, the northeastern province of Kenya, and Somalia. However, now it has taken a more national identity for Somalia only, and now officially denotes the sky as well as the Gulf of Aden, Gardafoui Channel, and the Somali Sea, which flank the country. As far as ranking goes, this simplistic design earns its place in the basic tier. Next up, we have the flag of South Africa, which is a very unique flag design that has a black triangle at the hoist side, which is edged out by a yellow trim and splits the green horizontal band into an inverted horizontal Y. This is coupled with a red band at the top and a blue band at the bottom, all that are separated from the green band by a white stripe. And trust me, that was not easy to describe. Now, apparently this flag has 6 unique colors. However, no universal symbolism is attached to any of them, with arguably the only symbolic value of this flag being in the inverted horizontal Y, which is understood to be a convergence of the diverse elements within the South African society. Based off its appearance though, this is a very gorgeous flag, and so I have to place it into the art tier. Next up, we have the flag of South Sudan, and this has a light blue triangle at the hoist side hosting a 5-point yellow star within it, with the fly side being a tricolor horizontal formation of black, red, and green with white stripes separating them. And this is quite honestly just the Kenyan flag, with the coat of arms replaced by a light blue triangle with a star in it. And much like the flag of Kenya, these colors' symbolic value is the same, with the differential of the yellow star being representative of the unity of South Sudan. Again, with all these similarities, I am forced to place this flag into none other than the copycat tier. And next up, we have the flag of Sudan, which also has a tricolor horizontal formation of red, white, and black, coupled with a green triangle on the hoist side. And this is basically the Egyptian flag with the emblem replaced by the green triangle, which was actually the original inspiration for that flag. Their color values are the red stripe representing Sudan's struggle for independence, with the white representing the people, light, and optimism, black representing Sudan itself, and the green being representative of Islam, agriculture, and prosperity of the land. The flag in its design uses Pan-Arab colors and Pan-Arab inspirations, therefore I cannot find myself placing it any higher than the copycat tier. And up next we have Bendera ya Tanzania, aka the flag of Tanzania, which is the final flag in the African continent that incorporates the diagonal stripe, this time being a black band with the gold edges. This separates the rest of the flag into an upper right angle triangle and a lower right angle triangle, the upper being green in color and the lower being blue. And this flag results from the merger between the individual flags for Tanganyika and Zanzibar, making this the flag for the United Republic of Tanzania. The color symbolic values are pretty standard, with the green being an allusion to the natural vegetation and rich agricultural resources of the country, the black representing the Swahili people native to Tanzania, the blue epitomizing the Indian Ocean as well as the nation's numerous lakes and rivers, and finally the golden strips being evocative of Tanzania's mineral wealth. It's a pretty cool flag with a pretty cool design, and I will be placing it into the basic tier. Next up, we have Drapeau du Togo, aka the flag of Togo. This one has 5 equal horizontal bands of alternating green and yellow, with a red square in the upper left canton that hosts a 5-pointed white star. Now, this flag is quite uniquely both part of the Pan-African flag family as well as the Stars and Stripes flag family. The symbolic value of these colors are standard to the understanding of the Pan-African colors, with the 5 stripes representing the 5 regions of Togo. And I believe that this flag does enough to make me not feel like it was copying anybody else's assignment, unlike most of the other flags that borrow the Pan-African colors. So for that reason, this flag will not end up in the copycat tier and instead has Togo into the basic tier. Next up, we have the flag of Tunisia, which is an all-red field with a centralized white disc that hosts a red crescent moon and a 5-point red star. Now, this red color actually runs deep as it represents the blood of the Tunisian martyrs killed during the Crusades before the advent of the Ottomans in 1574. As for the white disc, it remains representative of peace, with the crescent moon and the 5-point red star being representative of the unity of all Muslims and the 5 pillars of Islam. As a flag design though, it is very basic but still has this artistic je ne sais quoi about it, so I am going to put it into the art tier. Up next we have Bendera ya Uganda, aka the flag of Uganda. This consists of 6 equal horizontal bands of black, yellow, red, with a white centralized disc that has the national emblem, a grey crowned crane. The symbolic value of these colors being black for the people of Africa, yellow for Africa's sunshine, and red for African brotherhood. You know, because of familial bonds through blood. With the inclusion of their national symbol, the grey crowned crane, as it is fabled for its gentle nature. And as a flag design, I really like this one, so I'm going to place it right here into the art tier. Next up, we have the flag of the Kingdom of Wakanda. You could not have possibly thought that I would not rank this flag. Just look at it. Marvel at its beauty. There is literally no need for me to break down this flag. Easy S tier. Sovereign tier. Well, that came out of nowhere. Anyway, next up we have the flag of Zambia. This is yet another unique flag as it is for the most part a field of green. However, in the far right side we have 3 vertical blocks of red, black and orange with an orange African fish eagle hovering above this rectangular block. The symbolism within the color scheme is as follows: the green standing for the nation's agriculture and lush flora, the red for the nation's struggle for independence, black for the Zambian people, and the orange color for the land's copper. And finally, the flying African fish eagle is representative of the people's ability and freedom to rise above the nation's problems. I mean, wow, just talk about artistic taste in a flag and you see this Zambian flag. It was designed with enough artistic taste to even leave some negative space. And I don't know, I haven't actually really paid attention to this flag before, but now that I am looking at it, I love it. This is going straight into the sovereign tier. And finally, we are about to rank our finale, the flag of Zimbabwe. Now, this flag contains 7 even horizontal stripes layered as green, gold, red, black, red, gold, green. This flag also has a white triangle on the hoist side with a 5-point red star superimposed by the figure of a Zimbabwean bird. As for the symbolic value of these colors, they hold the standard understandings that we have discussed in previous flag discussions, with the most pressing symbol being that of the great Zimbabwe bird, aka the Hungwe, which is understood to be symbolic of the strong bond that the ancestral humans had with the animals, nature, and their spiritual guides. Thus, this symbol is one of deep historical relevance. Yeah, as a flag design, I'm really digging this one. It has a lot going on for it, but maybe a bit too much going on for it, knocking it down from the sovereign tier into the art tier. And there you have it, your 56 African states ranked according to their flag designs. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below, and feel free to make your own tier list. Link will be available in the description below. I really do hope you enjoyed this one. If you listened the whole way through, you are a real one. I need a break. So I'ma head out. It's been your soon to be favorite Uncle Omari, and I cannot wait to see you all in the next one.